Been out in the garden cleaning up the sweet potatoes, and I realize now why it was growing so vigorously. Let me show you what I found. Hello, and welcome to the channel. The sun is going down. I don't have a lot of light. I'm in the garden this evening, and I thought because the weather was a little warmer today that I would come out and I would try to clean up this sweet potato vine mess. Excuse the neighbor's dog. I haven't been talking, and the minute I start talking, it starts barking. So there's that. Um, but I started cleaning up all the sweet potato vines. I had 3 pots in here, that is. Well, the vines infiltrated a third pot. So I've been trying to clean that out. I've got as many of the roots out as I possibly can. But it's likely that this pot is going to end up with sweet potatoes coming from the roots in the near future. If not this coming year, maybe even next year. But as I was cleaning out these pots, and let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me come over to you. As I was cleaning these pots down here, see the original sweet potato pot is right there. This one was not a sweet potato pot, and this one was not a sweet potato pot. But this one over here was a sweet potato pot. And it was sitting, hope I'm not going too fast, it was sitting right here. Actually, up under this spot right here. Well, believe it or not, in between these two, because I've been shifting things. So literally the pot was right here. And what I found, let me show you. I did not do anything to the pot. It is still just a jumble of vines. All I did was just whack the vines down. I moved this pot, and as I was trying to pick it up and get it out of the cattle panel, it was like stuck. And so I have my phone in my hand. Let me see if I can show you. So that's the bottom of the pot. I forgot my spouse put holes in the bottom of this pot. And so the sweet potato vines were growing out of the bottom of the pot. Let me see if I can dip it over a little bit so you all can see. That's the bottom of the pot. And this pot has daddy long legs all over it. So I am not going to leave my foot here for very long because there's a daddy long legs right next to my foot. But it was growing sweet potatoes at the bottom of this container. So yeah, I need to get these out of here and see what's growing in this pot because it has a gazillion spiders. There's spiders all up under the pot there. Hope you all can see baby spider egg clusters. So yeah, this has to be cleaned up. As I was digging the root out of the ground, and there's still probably more down there, I was just throwing them in the pot. And here is a piece of it. There's some more in here. Here's a piece too. And so there is a piece right here that was growing in the ground. So there's quite possible, it's highly probable that I will have sweet potatoes growing out of the ground. Now come over this way because I've been moving things out of the way. Right there, growing from right there. So I'll have to keep an eye on it in the future. This is why I don't like growing potatoes in the ground because it's hard to dig them out. I don't have soft soil. And so digging was not easy trying to unearth. And when you do dig them out of the ground, you always inevitably leave a root somewhere. And then it begins to grow again and again and again and again. So I'm going to see about harvesting this pot if I have enough time, and we'll go from there. You know what? I wanted to show you all something before I totally forgot and got busy on this. Let me show you what I found. This is my pigeon pea. It, of course, does not like the cold. The tops are dying back. But as long as the roots stay alive and the vast majority of the trunk stays alive, it should come back. What I've noticed is, let me show you guys. Can you see that? That is a seed pod. My very first seed pods from the pigeon pea. And I was so excited to see that. Look at that. My very first pigeon pea that I've grown myself. I've never been able to get it to grow to this size. and I definitely have never been able to harvest seeds from it. So I'm excited. So even if, for whatever reason, due to the cold, if it's too severe and it does kill this, I have seeds to start over, even though I don't want to start over. So let's just hope that it's unhappy because of the cold. The tops will die back, but the vast majority of it will live and it will grow even bigger in the spring. And I have to watch this because this pot also has holes in the bottom, and there's a likely possibility that this could escape. The container right here was an overflow container of sweet potatoes because I had a lot of slips last year. This pot was not intended to grow sweet potatoes at all. I had magnolia peas and onions in here. That's what the tag says. And so this was also a pot that was hijacked by potatoes. Now, what I am going to try to attempt to do is to save as many of the roots as I possibly can because I do want to grow sweet potatoes this year. And I do still have a container inside of the greenhouse, well, inside of the cattle panel. I'm using it as a makeshift greenhouse. And I'm not going to harvest that. I'm going to leave that alone until spring. Then I'm going to go inside of there. I'm going to harvest. I will refresh that container. And more than likely, it is going to have growth in there like it did last year. Potatoes began to grow. So that's always a pleasant surprise. Now, I don't want to rip and tear, but sweet potatoes are sort of kind of delicate in a way. They will tear easily, the skins will rub off easily when they are not cured. So I'm just trying to loosen the soil by running my little shovel along the side of the container and just kind of loosen it up a little bit as much as I can. As I move the soil nearest to you all, nearest the camera, I can see some roots down there. I don't know how many potatoes I have. I don't know what size they are. All I know is this container infiltrated the ground. So I do know that there are some coming out of the pot. So, okay. Wow. Wow. This is a long, I'll show you guys in just a second. This is a really long, I would have to say sweet potato. It looks like a root, but they will turn into sweet potatoes. So I'm just loosening it up. Again, trying not to break anything. And all these little pieces I am going to keep and repot. Not in here. They're not going in here because it's already gone into the ground and I don't want this pot to do that again. I will put it in a different container and this will grow something else. So let's see. Now what it's doing is I can tell now it's trying to pull it through the hole in the bottom. Now there are some potatoes in here and I'm very satisfied. You all, I have never had a potato harvest like this before. Ever. Ever. And it's exciting. Now I can tell I just ripped one and it was probably the root for this that's coming out the bottom of the pot. And I'll show you in just a second. Yeah. And I'm also grub land. Grubs everywhere. Grubs. Every pot I grab in the ground, just grubs. Okay, I'm going to show you all. I know the suspense is probably killing you, right? Because you all can probably see a little what's going on. But I want to just really loosen up that bottom soil. And then I'm going to show you. As soon as I can release what's coming through the bottom, I'm going to show you all in just a second. Oh, that one broke too. Okay, so let me move this out the way. Let me grab this grub before I lose sight of it. And then we're going to show you all. And I don't want to throw any of these roots away because I'm going to replant the roots. And I'm going to dig down in there. But let me show you all what I got out of this pot. Now, it doesn't probably look like a whole lot. Looks like a lot of mess. But look at that. Nope, you know what? No. Let me cut these roots off. Let me cut these huge pieces off. And then I'm going to show you. This is the beautiful sweet potato harvest. I cannot believe it. I did not cut off all of the long roots because I wanted to show you all what it looks like. Look at that. That's a beautiful potato. Absolutely beautiful. I am going to save these and bury them and see if they'll grow me some more potatoes in the spring. I did cut off the vines from here and here and here. So I am going to cut this up or cut this off and bury it back. But yeah, oh, hang on. Looks like I've got a grub over here. We're going to get rid of that. Grubs everywhere. Here's a piece I'm going to bury as well. Here's another potato with another long piece that I'm going to bury back in the container. I'm not sure where, but I am going to bury it somewhere. And they're all tangled up a little bit. But look at these potatoes, you guys. I have never grown potatoes this big ever. So I'm going to put them in the indoor greenhouse, turn the warming mat on, and let them cure with some warmth. And then we will be enjoying this beautiful, beautiful harvest. Now this one looks like it may have a hole, so I'm going to have to cut a piece of it off. Just right up here at the top. But that is gorgeous. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful, everybody? Wow. Wow is all I can say. Absolutely gorgeous. I cannot wait to be able to enjoy these. And so I've already taken this container and refreshed it. Here's some more that I'm going to bury. I've already refreshed this, so I'm going to get this back in the cattle panel and it'll be ready for spring. Now, there are a few roots still in this. I try to get as many of them out as I can, but this is what the roots look like. They're very fibrous, so you can't always get every last one of those out. So there's a possibility that I will end up with sweet potatoes growing in this pot again. I hope not, but we'll see. I want to grow something else. I want to put some peas in the garden here real soon. So we'll see how this goes. We shall see. Down on the ground, these are all of the vines I cut off of the potatoes. Now that is a potato that rotted, and of course the thick vines that were on it, but I took that out. I'm going to save some of these vines. I'm going to clip them, put them in some water, and get them in the indoor greenhouse. And that way I will have my slips for later on in spring. So that's what I'm going to do with this. Thank you for joining me in the garden today, my impromptu harvest. I'm so excited. This is a thumbnail. Look at that. This is as big as my head. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Excited. They did get a little bit scratched up as I was putting them in the container that they're in right now, the pot that was sitting next to it, but that's okay. I'm going to get them in the indoor greenhouse, get them on a little bit of heat, and get them cured. I will be, like I said, cutting these pieces off and getting that buried for the spring. And yeah, it's time to start over. So if you're growing sweet potatoes, or if you're thinking about growing sweet potatoes, this was a sweet potato that I got from Whole Foods. This was not a seed potato, so you can grow potatoes too. And like I said, I will keep the vines down there to grow me some slips. I'll replant this to see if that will grow me some potatoes. And this way, this year, sorry, the wind is blowing and it's blowing things in my face. This year, there will be no purchasing potato anything from the store. So thank you for joining me in the garden. I hope you enjoyed today's impromptu garden cleanup and garden harvest. I hope to see you either in my kitchen or my ever-growing food forest real soon. Let me finish up because it's getting cold and I got to get this in the house. Bye for now.